What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to talk about what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ. And I'm also going to talk about Palantir, give you guys some more updates about the share price and talk about how it's looking. But before I break into all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just first say that I am not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. We deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon. Anyways, now let's talk about the market. Let's first go over some earnings. So don't forget that for after the market closes, we have like Pinterest, just a couple of others like Expedia. And then tomorrow morning, we have PepsiCo. If you're interested in like looking at any of these or trying to play any of them, it's your choice, guys. Just wanted to call that out. And then we're basically done with all the data for today. There's also not really anything coming out for tomorrow. So we have a very quiet day. We have Barkin giving a speech, and they're likely not going to say much. The market's still holding up. So now the question is, what's going on with the market? What's going on with all these different tickers? I'll be giving you guys more information about Palantir first before I break down SPY. So in my previous videos, I did talk about Palantir on Monday. It jumped 19% as AI demand has driven a revenue beat, and it gave us its fourth quarter earnings after the bell closed. So looking at this, they did well on EPS, meeting expectations. They beat on revenue. They ran like crazy because for their full year guidance, they had very, very good expectations, and they ended up meeting expectations. Revenue increased 20% to $608 million, with 508 million point six a year earlier. So it's a very, very nice amount of growth for them. Net income of about 93.4 million was quite good. And overall, they also mentioned that their expansion and growth has never been greater. So great news for Palantir. This thing was pumping like crazy. And since then, this thing has just been continuing to rip and rip and rip. You guys can see this is like the reaction from earnings. It's been slowly uptrending, 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 and now it's pumping very nicely. So what are the levels on Palantir? What do I think this thing is doing? Well, we have a rising wedge-like structure, guys, so be a little bit careful with this, but this could be invalidated if this thing just continues to respect an uptrend. Now, we don't even have to worry too much solely based off the pattern. I would just want to focus on levels because I find that levels tend to be more helpful. So basically, Palantir is testing resistance at 25. It's very simple. If we break this 25 resistance, we have a gap to fill around 26.2, or around that range. We're going to hit the 26s. If we break above that, Nvidia does not have much resistance until we get to 28 because historically we got a rejection there. And if it breaks down, our next target is going to be all the way up towards like this 30 area. So those are some resistance levels to watch for. But for now, don't worry about 30. We're just focused on 25. Let's see if we could break this. If we do, we have that gap to fill and then 28 coming. And there's not much resistance at 26. It's just a gap area. I just wanted to mark that. Otherwise, this thing is on a very, very nice uptrend. For support, in order for us to turn bearish on this thing, you want to see it lose this trend line right here. And simultaneously, you want to see it lose 23.75 right over here. This previous resistance becoming support. If we lose that, we could be dropping back down towards this imbalance around 21.5 essentially, or very close to 21.8, and into like the mid to high 21s, if anything. So something like that. So how is Palantir essentially looking? Right now it looks bullish though. We're making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, but we're fighting some tough resistance. We'll see if we can break this. Overall, the trend is still strong. It's still favoring the bulls. And in my opinion, it might actually try to break this still, so it does not have any confirmation of reversal. It still looks very strong. So if you're interested in playing this, be careful with your entries though, because it's already up so big, but it's your choice, guys. It still looks quite strong. How about SPY? How's SPY looking? Not the best. It's just choppy and continuing to just chop, chop, chop in this range. But don't forget that tomorrow is going to be Friday, and SPY has a lot of puts expiring. We actually have a 2.00 puts to call ratio. We have over 875,000 puts expiring. So it's pretty crazy. Are they going to let the market squeeze because of that? It's a possibility. Or is SPY going to fail to do so? We'll just have to wait and see. But we have to see if we could try to close above 498 or hold above it. And can we end up breaking 498.5? It's very tough resistance. If we do so, 499 is coming. 500 and 501 are all going to be targets. This thing is still favoring the bulls because we're still shuffling in the 498 resistance zone. Still holding up nicely. It still is favoring the bulls with another accumulation structure. So we'll be watching to see if this ends up getting a breakout. To turn bearish, you want to see it basically lose Basically 497. Then we have 496 below that, this high right here. We want to lose this. If we lose 496, we could be expecting 494. But right now, SPY is still holding up nicely. It is still favoring the bulls. For the QQQ, this is looking strong still. Okay, we're still, so we got this false break below this yellow trend line, then we broke above it, and now we're hovering above it. We're shifting upwards. We're holding 433. Watch resistance now as we get closer to 434, and above that, excuse me, above that we have 435. If we lose this yellow trend line, watch 432 as support. If we lose this, we could be looking at this thing to come all the way back down to 430 to 429. Right now, it's uptrending, it's pushing slowly. We have a little minor resistance at 433.5 and then 434. Watch those levels. Right now, it's still holding up nicely and may attempt to push up higher later on, still favoring the bulls. For Nvidia, I'm going to talk about Nvidia then Tesla. Nvidia has a nice cup and handle like formation, but it hasn't been able to get the breakout yet. So we're going to be watching to see if we can get that breakout tomorrow. We'd have to break all-time highs, and this could launch the QQQ higher. So watch and see if we could do that. If we fail to do so, watch it break below 700. If we lose that, it could be returning back down to 695 and 692, and eventually the lower levels down here. But overall, cup and handle like structure is looking bullish. Going to be looking for a nice push. We'll see if we could end up achieving that. For Tesla stock, it looks strong right now. Whoops, not Yesla, Tesla. Pretty funny. So for Tesla, we look bullish. We're on this nice uptrend. I said earlier we have a nice potential bullish wedge forming. I'm going to be watching to see if we can break this resistance right here. We came and made an attempt to break 190, but we haven't been able to hold it. So it's still at that resistance, but still it's showing life. It's still fighting for 190. The chart is looking bullish. We have a nice uptrend. Going to be watching Tesla potentially grab a little liquidity again before it tries to continue to push up, and the trend is still bullish. Let's see if this thing could close above 190. If we achieve that, it could push even more, and we're going to be looking to see if we can get to the mid 190s as we have this resistance zone that's approaching. For support, watch 188 as the critical level. If we lose that, 188 to 187.5 range, it's going to come down to 186 and 184. Overall, however, Tesla's favoring the bulls. We'll see if it could close above 190, still looking quite strong. For Apple stock, Aapl is also looking okay. I said yesterday it might come down to 188. So far, we're kind of testing that and we're kind of like shuffling right now. So look for this like left shoulder here, the head up here, then the right shoulder that's forming. I'm going to be watching to see if Aapl ends up continuing to sink. If we get a little bounce from a right shoulder, we could see a little downside here. So be a little bit careful. So I do want to warn you guys about Aapl. There's a possible head and shoulders, but there's no confirmation of a break yet. We need to see Aapl lose 186.5 to turn more bearish. Hasn't lost that yet. And to be bullish, you want to see it break above this resistance right here at, it's basically very close to 190. If we break that, we could be pushing higher. Otherwise, we're still kind of shuffling in the 188s, and we'll be watching to see which way it breaks. It's still kind of in the middle between being bullish and bearish, so be a little bit careful, but then we'll just see which way it goes. With that being said, that's it. I essentially went over the majority of the tickers out there. Just a couple more. Palantir is still fighting 25, could break very soon, still looks bullish. I said the IWM could break towards 196 if we broke 195, and that's what happened. Still looking very strong. The Russell 2000 could be pushing to higher levels. If we close here, we could even go all the way up to 198, but that depends on how well we hold 196. So this trend is still bullish on the Russell 2000. For a couple of others out there, let's just double check this. I was also talking about Coinbase. Coinbase is looking pretty good with a nice uptrend, but we have a tough resistance at the 4-hour 200 EMA in this 132 zone. So if we break that, so we're going to close above this 200 EMA, we're going to push even higher. If we fail to do so, it's going to be a tight resistance. So we'll see how it does. So far, it's looking very strong. Looks like it might break out. So it's looking pretty good. Anyways, that's it for like that little extra tickers I had. Have a great day, guys. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you and peace out.